Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonia, also known as SG from Let the Lady Speak podcast, where we have healthy discussions about life, love, dating, and relationships while promoting self-love and healing. Tonight, I'm going to talk about Miss Courtney of the Ready to Love cast DC. What did Miss Courtney do wrong? How did she end up being sent home? And what can we learn from her? But first and foremost, if you are new here, thank you. If you like the content, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up bell, and comment below. If you are returning, thank you so much for returning. I appreciate you. If you are a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate you as well. Okay, let's talk about Miss Courtney. Miss Courtney is our Leo. She's 30 years old. She's a business consultant. She came in with her mane and her height and her big, beautiful smile, and she got sent home. What did Miss Courtney do wrong? Well, let me just say this. This is why I feel like it's important to make sure you know yourself and know clearly what you want. Courtney says she wanted a alpha male, right? But Courtney also says she's an alpha woman. Courtney came off very aggressive and very assertive, in my opinion. And for an alpha male, you now become competition and you're no longer someone they want to protect and provide for, right? And so it's interesting to me. You would see the dynamics with her change though. When she was with Cornelius, she was very assertive, but Cornelius is very shy, very laid back, very reserved, right? When she was with Corey, she was more laid back and she was more receptive. And that's because Corey is kind of like in your face, right? I'm not going to necessarily call him alpha. He doesn't give me that alpha energy, but Corey is a doer and a giver, right? Whereas Cornelius is not. So she's trying to get from Cornelius and she's receiving from Corey, which makes a difference. And I can say the energy you're around changes how you as a person interact. Okay, how you show up, how you date, how you interact with different people. So she said in the beginning that she didn't want a shy guy because she would eat them alive. So I knew right then and there that, you know, she likes the competition. She likes to chase. She said she's a boss and she's an alpha male and she likes to go after men. Let me just say this, and I'm not saying that this is Courtney's issue, but the behavior. I'm just talking strictly about the behavior. I don't know Courtney. I'm not diagnosing or anything like that. But it has been my experience that a lot of times if someone is suffering or have unresolved childhood sexual abuse, they have that desire to dominate men. And that desire comes from a lot of times, not always, and I'm not saying this is Courtney. I want to be clear about that. I'm just talking about some of the things that I see that seems familiar to me related to these kind of traumas. A lot of times you want to assert yourself and dominate men because you want to take your power back, right? When we have been hurt, if we don't heal from that hurt, we emotionally and physically and sometimes mentally, not physically, but you mentally stay in that place. And you spend your life, if you don't deal with it, trying to correct the past, right? If I couldn't protect myself as a child, I can protect myself now. I'm going to show you I'm strong and I'm powerful and I'm going to dominate you, right? It happens all the time. It happens in many ways. Tammy from Basketball Wives displayed that when she took the girl's purse. I don't know if you guys remember that, but when she took her purse and she wouldn't give her purse back to her. If you listen to what Tammy said later, she said you should never let anybody do that to you. You know, she told a girl, like, you stand up for yourself. That's her talking to the little girl in her. You know, that's how I perceive it. And it's kind of the same with Courtney for me. Because if you think about it, how she's this strong, sexual, dominant Leo of a tiger of a woman. But when Corey invaded her space, she did what we call, she froze. There's 4 trauma responses. There's fight, flight, freeze or fawn. She did fawn and freeze. She froze, she dropped her head and she looked away. If I'm a powerful, strong woman, very confident in my sexuality, and I'm out here conquering all the man, you're never going to trap me in a corner, right? You're never going to make me back down, right? She wouldn't have looked away. She would have looked at him. She would have demanded her space with her energy and with her words and with her actions. But instead, she kind of froze. And then she tried to regain it by saying that she was comfortable, but she really wasn't. Like, we all knew she wasn't comfortable, right? So again, because there is triggering that happens, it takes you back to that place. And he made it all better with the flowers. But in that moment, she lost control. And that's actually when I saw her trauma. Perceived trauma. I don't know if she had trauma, but that's what it looked like to me. Okay. Past unresolved trauma. I don't know that to be true. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just saying the behavior. I'm talking strictly about the behavior, not about Courtney. But she didn't dominate him. And if she's the kind of woman that wants to dominate all men at all times, like she said, she goes after what she wants, she takes it. That would have been a moment when she did that. But when there has been some unresolved trauma, if someone invades your space and catches you off guard and you're not in character, the child shows up, right? And so that's kind of what I felt in that moment. But oddly enough, she did the same to Cornelius. And people aren't really talking about it, but she completely and totally invaded Cornelius's space. He set boundaries. He said, I don't want to have sex before marriage, which I may do a video about that, because he's not being completely authentic or completely clear. I question his statements are not clear. He says you may make a mistake, you may fumble, it may happen type deal. So I don't think he's absolute in his goals, but he did tell her that, you know, that's important for him, and she crossed that boundary. So she crossed the line as well, and she became the aggressor in that moment. And that is concerning. But again, a lot of times there's this internal struggle with unresolved trauma. If someone has invaded your space and crossed your boundaries, to try to relive that every moment you can, to reassure yourself that you're strong and you're protected. Again, I'm not saying that's her. That's the behavior that I have seen in the past with individuals who act that way. Okay. So when the men talked about Courtney, they said, Walter said she seems like the homie. And Cornelius I think Cornelius didn't feel heard or respected. He doesn't say much. He doesn't set strong boundaries. I really would like for him to work on that. But he, you know, you could tell he wasn't heard. The more he said that this is important to him or tried to express that, the more she crossed the line. So that's kind of what she did wrong. You got to respect a person's boundaries, beliefs, and core value systems. That's important. And there were moments in time, again, when she was in her masculinity. Like, there was one time she had her dress on, she had her legs open, she had her hands in between her legs, and she was just sitting. Even during the elimination, she was just sitting with her legs open. I'm like, girl, Miss Lady, you're wearing a dress. Close your legs. Close your legs. So those kind of things. It was kind of confusing. And there were times she was very much like homie. Like, again, I think Courtney is beautiful. I just think if there is some unresolved trauma, if something has happened, that it will behoove her to work through those things, because I really think she does want to be cared for, and she really does want someone to date and court her. One of the reasons why she enjoyed Corey is that Corey gave her attention. She liked the attention, and he was romantic, and she likes the romance. But she shows up, it seems as though she shows up in character like, no, I'm the dominant one. I don't need romance. I just need you. But in Corey's presence, with the actions that he did, she showed that she wanted to be cared for and protected. So you have to know exactly who you are and what you want, and you have to deal with the past before you start seriously trying to date and pursue someone. So what I would say, my advice to someone like her, again, is like I said, deal with their trauma, seek help. There are trauma specialists. Again, I'm not saying that this happened to Courtney, but if this speaks to you, if it resonates to you, there are trauma specialists that can help you. And just reflect on who you are, what you want, and who is it that you want people to fall in love with. You know, I'm thinking about doing a video on Corey. One of the issues with Corey is that Corey doesn't let us see who Corey is, truly, in my opinion. And I've watched a few of his interviews, but we'll see. This video isn't about Corey though. But those are the things that I feel like Miss Courtney did wrong. She's a beautiful woman and a lot of men were interested in her initially. But again, she kind of gave friend vibes and masculine vibes, and she gave I'm one of the guys type of vibe, and I think that was a turn off. Like Walter said, she's a homie, you know. I don't think that really what her intent was, but I think that's her security blanket, and you just have to be mindful of your behavior. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Comment below, let me know your thoughts, and click subscribe if you are not subscribed to my channel, or at least please come back. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Please don't forget to love you for who you are. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.